get started. Thank you everybody for joining us on this Friday afternoon, morning, late evening. I think we have a few people from all over. We're really delighted to be concluding a week of festivities for International Women's Day with a very interesting fireside chat with two amazing Lebanese women, and you'll hear more about them. I just wanted to highlight a few things that we're doing here at Life. I think in our work over the last few years, we really stepped up our engagement towards our women members and our women scholars. I think some of our scholars are also joining us today. So we're very happy to now have almost 50 men and women scholars in our growing pool of scholarships that we award, and also in the other activities such as the job creation, where we're working very hard at helping women succeed. In terms of the networking, which is at the core of our activity at Life, we've created instances for women to really continue getting together, to network, exchange ideas, strengthen their relationships, and actually create new ones. And whether it's at the local chapter level, where women meet just over breakfast on a regular basis, or in the larger forums such as the e-roundtables, which are being chaired by our board member Sasha van der Water. It's been very interesting to see and get the input of our women members who are looking at driving the initiatives, such as mentoring for each other and helping one another across all stages of their careers. And God knows that even in this day and age, we still face issues. So it's great to have the support from fellow members. And also we're looking at helping entrepreneurs and women-led SMEs, both in Lebanon and abroad. Given everything that's going on in Lebanon now, I think these are very crucial initiatives. But anyhow, I just wanted to highlight a few things on what we're doing, and all of our initiatives are driven by our members. So I'm really very thankful to all of the members who join us in all of these events and initiatives, and who drive them forward and really make a difference. So with that, I just wanted also to introduce today, first of all, Rana. Rana has been an integral part of Life. She's chaired the Montreal chapter for a long time, and she's the pillar of the community there, and she's really been involved in a lot of initiatives here at Life. Rana, thank you so much for doing this, and I will thank Rola in advance, and I'll let you do the introduction, but we're really delighted to have both of you today with us, and over to you. But we can't hear you, you're on mute.
Okay, that did not happen to me in a while, but anyways, so can you hear me now? Is it good? Yeah?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, sorry about that. So anyways, welcome everybody. I'm so glad you could join us today. It's a real honor personally for me to be hosting today's Fireside for Life. This week we celebrate women all across the world. It was International Day on the 8th, but the week itself is very important. And this year's theme is about breaking the biases, being aware of them, and taking action to level the playing field. And for that, I'm really delighted to introduce to you my friend and a true inspiration to me, Rola Dagher. Rola, there's so much to say about you. And every time I speak to you, I learn more and more. But, I think it's very fascinating to talk about your life, your success, your philosophy, and also your vision. And I hope we're going to get to talk about that today, you and I. But before we begin, I just wanted to take some time just to kind of wrap it up. You left Lebanon under very particular circumstances, and I'll let you talk about that. And then to come here to Canada, because I'm also in Canada, to start a new life. And you started your career at the bottom of Bell, and then ended up at the top job as a CEO of Cisco. You're back at Dell, and now you're part of the leadership team as the global channel chief. And Dell is one of the top companies in the world. Your accolades are many, and every time I learn about you, I learn more and more. To do you justice, I'm just going to read it to everybody because there's so many of them. I honestly, I just want to do it properly. So bear with me, guys. I have to take my paper, but I really think you guys have to hear this. In 2020, Rola, you were one of the top 25 women of influence. You were also named by WXN as one of Canada's top 100 most powerful women. In 2019, you were named Woman of the Year by WCT. WCT stands for Women in Communications and Technology. You were selected as one of RBC's top 25 immigrant winners. And you were named, this is very special, Lady of the Cedar by the Lebanese Embassy. And in 2018, you received the Leadership Award for the Lebanese Canadian Business Chamber of Commerce, which I actually attended, and it was great. You're also an active member in the community, and you give so much back. And this part, guys, really pay attention to this. You sit on the board of Cedars Cancer Foundation. You're an advocate for pediatric and young adult cancer patients. You're a co-founder of the Black North Initiative. I didn't even know you were part of this. I follow it, so I was really amazed to see that. You are an active member of the 30% Club, which aims to increase gender diversity on companies, boards, and executive teams. You sit on the Circle of Champions for the Toronto Region Immigrant Employment Council. You sit on the foundation board for the Center of Addiction and Mental Health. Sit on the advisory board for Catalyst, and I need to explain what that is, which accelerates progress for women in the workplace. You're a member of the Kids Help phone board, and a special one for us all here that I saw you put together. You are the founder of the Lebanese Canadian Coalition Fund that ultimately raised, I think it was 16 million. Was it 16 million?
55 million.
I had the wrong number. $55 million from Canadians, and also you're able to get the Canadian government to match, which that is a feat in itself. So really, I have to tell you, chapeau. And that was really the emergency fund that you put together here in Canada. So I participated, and I want to thank you for that. But you also do a lot for Canada. You are an active member of the Business Council of Canada and a member of the US-Canada Innovation Partnership. And I need to explain what that is. It helps shape policy around the workforce of the future and promotes the adoption and acceleration of emerging technologies, innovation, and research. But last and not least, you're a mom of a son and a daughter, and you're very close to your family. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. I just want people to just take it in and take a moment to reflect on everything I just said. I have to say, wow. I find it fascinating and amazing. And I really have to tell you, I do a lot, but nothing like you do. I just don't know how you find the time. So we're going to go through all of that, Rola, but I'm going to give you a bit of the floor to say hello to everybody, and then we'll pass on to the questions between us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rana. It's such an honor for me. And just to share the stage with you, because I remember, and I look behind you and I see that cedar tree that half Lebanese flag and half the Canadian flag, and you'll see it behind me too, because we were both at the same event when we both received them. And it's an honor for me. You talked about me as a person, but at the same time, I have to tell you, my passion for Lebanon and for the Lebanese people has been more and stronger than ever, even before I left Lebanon. And I always introduce myself as a proud Lebanese and a grateful Canadian. بس also بقول إنه طلعونا من لبنان بس ما حدا بيقدر يطلع لبنان من قلبنا. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And I'm sure people are reacting to what you just said. Let's start with Lebanon. Let's start with the beginning of this journey and take us through, how that happened to you from Lebanon and how you came here to Canada. I know it's a more personal side, but I'd like to hear it from you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, I think we all have our stories. My story is not different than any of the Lebanese stories that you hear. But let me begin by acknowledging what's happening in Ukraine first, because I think it relates to all of us, because it's crazy that in 2022, we see those images, because those images take me back. And happy International Women's Day to everybody, but this is dedicated to all these fighters and women, and may God be with them every step of the way, because we all lived it and we feel it. So let me begin by saying I valued many women that I have been in my life. The daughter, the sister, the mother, the friend, and the leader. But most importantly, today more than ever, as we reflect on what happened to us in the last 2 years, and specifically my situation, and I'll talk about that a little bit, I value the most the fighter and the survivor in me. And for every woman or man on this call, please remember that that's what you need to value the most, and just be kind to yourself. So let me take you a little bit on my journey in my story here, Rana. Just picture Lebanon in the 1980s. I don't know what year you left, but in the 80s, in the middle of a brutal 17, 18-year-old civil war, in a bomb shelter, a 10-year-old girl living there with 5 of her sisters and mom and dad. That girl was me. So now picture at the time a 9, 10-year-old girl that was a part of a beautiful Lebanese family with 6 girls, and her dad was looked at as poor man, haram. He had 6 girls. What is his 6 girls going to amount to? He doesn't have a boy. But then in my mind, I've always wanted to be dad's little boy to make him proud. So picture that girl changing a tire on her dad's car on Palm Sunday, where I also got in trouble because I dirtied my dress because we were going to church. So that girl was me. Now picture that girl became a 16-year-old girl that back in the culture, in our culture, basically wanted to be given away, and was given away at marriage at 15, and then had her daughter at 16-year-old. But at that time, during the really bad war in the 1988, that girl gave birth to a beautiful daughter named Stephanie in a bomb shelter in the Ashrafieh in Otera. So that girl was me, that escaped Lebanon also during the war with a girl in a trunk of a car, because we couldn't get to the airport back then. But at that time landed in Cyprus, lived on the streets for weeks until her parents found out that she was still alive, but then made it to Canada with one baby girl in one hand and a passport in the other hand, which I found that passport not too long ago. And that passport had one important stamp on it, and that stamp was the stamp of hope, the stamp of Canadian freedom. And that girl was me. So now, at that time, this girl was forced to become a woman very quickly. So picture this woman never giving up, pushing through every obstacle in front of her: abuse, cancer, bullying, racism, and most recently, long COVID, which I've been struggling with for the past 18 months, where every doctor that I saw kept saying, "We have no idea how you're not dead yet." And I'm still fighting it every day. But I tell you that I still count my blessing every day for the opportunity life had to offer me and still offers me. So that woman is me. Now picture a technology leader that started in Canada as a telemarketer and a corporate executive today, a woman of many awards that you listed. But the most important award for me is the one that you see right behind me on this side, which is a woman standing off of the cedar tree. And that was made just for me and called the Lebanese Cedar, the woman of the Cedar, the Lebanese woman of the Cedar by the Lebanese ambassador, Fadi Ziadi. That was the most beautiful, beautiful award that I've ever gotten. And I dedicated that award for my dad, because my dad has been my foundation of success, my mentor, my everything in life. And still at 85 years old, my dad says to me every day, life owes you nothing, Rola. Life is an opportunity for you to make the best of it. And I still do make the best out of every opportunity I have. Now, that woman today stands in front of you. A lot of people doubted, because I never had a formal degree, how the heck did she get there? People say, who is she? How did she get to be? Why her? Why not me? I proved everybody wrong, and I love proving everybody wrong, because that's when you believe in yourself. Now, think about that. A picture paints 1,000 words, and a story paints 1,000 pictures. I come as one, but I stand for all of us today. That woman and that Lebanese individual is all of us. Thank you for having me. This is my story that could, and I pray and I hope every day that my story influences so many other Lebanese.
I think that you've gone through a lot, I mean, in your life, and you've summed it up, but I'm sure that there's so much more than that. So I think one of the things I'd love to drill into is also your career. I know there's a lot of young people around that are waiting to see and to learn from this conversation. And so if we go back to that telemarketer job that you talked about, it was an entry-level position. Tell us how, like, really, let's go into a bit more detail how you got to a CEO, because it's not everybody can get the CEO. And with everything that you just told us, you had a lot of obstacles as well. I mean, it wasn't easy. It obviously was not easy. So how did you do it?
So if I could describe it in one word, then I will be determination. I was determined. I knew that so let's just be clear that the system wasn't set up for me to be where I am today. As an immigrant, English wasn't my first language. Came here, I got, bullied, abused, racism, you name it. But the one thing that I will tell you is it's in our blood. We're fighters. We're survivors. No matter how many times you get knocked down, you dust your knees, you get up every day. So I was determined. So when I came to Canada, literally, I landed day one. Day two, my dad said to me, hey, Rola, our neighbors have a retail store in a mall. You need to start working right away. So like day two, I was in the store and started selling purses, and I didn't even speak the language. I had no idea. I don't have a formal degree. I barely graduated high school because I was given away at such a young age in marriage. So what I did is I started working day two, and then I was like, I was in retail, and I started thinking, okay, all these business people come in, they look so great. I want to be like them one day when I grow up. So I was done with retails. I said, okay, let me start in the corporate world. So I started in the telemarketing job, worked for Bell as a telemarketer selling long distance minutes. Remember in the old days that we used to pay for those minutes? It was like crazy money. And then I started at Bell. I started moving up. I was determined that I wanted to teach myself everything that everybody knew. I hung out with people that are a lot smarter than me that pushed me out of my comfort zone. I learned to unlearn. I continue to learn every single day because learning has been the fuel of my success. I basically went from a telemarketer to an account manager to a director at Bell for so many years. And then I'm like, okay, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I panicked. I was a single mom at the time because I was married for 20 years. And, just like every story that you hear when you were giving up at such a young age in Lebanon. And then I thought it was like, 15 years, I wanted to make sure that I provide my kids the best life. I panicked and I resigned from Bell to go and do a job that paid me more money. And just so for everybody on this call, don't ever take a job just because it makes you more money. Because 6 months later, I hated everything about it, because I go forward in life based on passion and purpose and impact. So after that, I decided to resign and I got a job. I met somebody that wanted a job at Dell, and I didn't know anything about Dell Technologies. And here I am, someone took a chance on me and I got the role. I started as an account manager. I worked extremely hard to get to a manager role, a director role. In less than 2 years, I was a VP at Dell. And everybody, including Michael Dell, said, who's this Lebanese fiery woman in Canada making this so much waves in growing the business? But in the meantime, when I was at Bell for 15 years, I've always wanted to work for Cisco. But Cisco never hired me because they thought I was too aggressive for the culture. And sure enough, I attempted, but it was the old boys club that they never thought a woman could be an account manager back then. And when I was at Bell, and when you're loving what you're doing at Dell, I thought, okay, I love what I'm doing. I got a call from a recruiter about the Cisco role. I'm like, you must be kidding me. You got the wrong number. You guys didn't hire me as an account manager. So 17 interviews later, Rana, I got the CEO role. You know what people said? People said, what the heck is Cisco thinking of hiring someone that doesn't have a formal degree or a PhD as a CEO? You know what else people said? She's going to fail miserably. You know what else they said? We'll give her 6 months. 3 years into Cisco, I was the top performer country. I won the #1 CEO of Cisco globally. I had taken Cisco Canada from negative to a positive, and Cisco Canada has won so many awards. And as you were just having fun, again, that's just happened. I never went and looked for a job. Dell and Michael Dell messaged me. He said, kiddo, it's time to come back home. I'm like, oh shit, I love what I do. I don't want to leave. But then I knew that my model in life and what guided me was comfort and growth don't coexist. I knew I wanted a global role. And what a huge opportunity going from a $2 billion business running Canada to a $60 billion business being the global channel chief globally at Dell. So that's where I am today. I'm loving every minute of it, and I'm learning tons. So that is my journey of success and determination to be where I am today. And I owe it all to the people that took chances on me. I owe it all to me failing in certain areas of my career, but learning from it, because failing was the best thing that ever happened to me, but also giving up was never, ever, ever an option.
Oh, that's very well said. You're definitely determined. I have to say that, that's for sure. There's just one thing somebody had asked me once, and I'll ask you the same question because it really made me ponder. So obviously you're a leader, and obviously you have that in you. But when did you actually figure out that you were a leader? And when did you decide to actually be one, or did it just fall into your lap? Like what happened?
You know what? It was always in me. I mean, being one of 6 girls, and I was #2, my dad has always given me so much responsibility growing up. It was like any of my sisters, there was anything that we need to do at home, go to Rola, or anything. So I've always had that leader mentality growing up. But when my kids were younger, I never thought that I could be a leader because I've dedicated a lot of my time to my kids, and I didn't have any options. I had to work so hard to get to just support my kids. I mean, my story wasn't like someone supported me. I've always supported everybody else in my life. But it got to a point when I was at Dell that I had a mentor that saw it in me. Because we as women ponder and overanalyze, can I do it? Am I good enough? And he's like, Rola, I think you could do this. I'm like, are you kidding me? No, I don't. I've never done this before. But in me, I knew that I wanted to, again, be more and I could give more. So it was at Dell that I started, and I felt so good about being a leader. And I felt amazing being a servant leader, because leadership to me is not a title you carry, and it's not just a prestige. Leadership to me is serving your people as a servant leader, just like you are as a parent. And it's not just again a box you check, it's action that you take. And I've always been that leader that I've empowered people, I've inspired people, and I just get out of their way and let them go there and make an impact. So, and it was late in my career, I would say 10 years ago, I became a leader. But prior to that, I was an individual contributor, but always a leader at heart.
Wow. So, and I want to pick up on something you said before, which actually ties into this. I mean, that servant leadership is very modern. It's not something that the past that was actually valued in the past. But I want to get to one point, which is, I mean, you said it in the beginning, is the impact. We talk about impact, and I know that there's a purpose. I know purpose is very important to you. If we talk about, if you were to sum it up, like, what is the impact that you want to have?
I mean, I live to leave a legacy behind. I don't want anyone to remember my title or the car I drove and, oh, look how much money she made and where she got. I want people to know that every conversation that they've had with me was an inspiration that made a difference in their lives. I want people to remember the impact I made on the community, on my team, on our customers, on our partners, but most importantly, my family, and what I've given back to Lebanon, and what I've given back and continue to give back. And the most recent one was our town where I was born and raised was struggling. I did a food drive with my sisters and my mom and dad. I'm rebuilding. My dad 10 years ago asked me to go home and donate the house we lived in to the church. And now they just didn't do anything with it for 20 years. And now I decided to invest and rebuild that home and make it a community home. That's what I want people to remember me by. The old days of being a leader just because you have IQ and you don't have any EQ or AQ or PQ. And let me explain to you the differences. They used to hire people in the old days just because how many degrees that they've had. But if Cisco hired me for my degrees, I wouldn't be there. If Cisco wanted to hire, or Dell wanted to hire me for my degrees, I wouldn't be where I am today. They hired me because I come with an EQ, high emotional quotient that is balanced with also IQ. That is street smart, not just book smart. The PQ, which is the purpose and passion quotient that every leader needs. And the AQ is the adaptability of being the leader you need to be. Because if it worked for us in the past, Rana, for the past 25 years, doesn't mean it's going to work for us moving forward. Today, more than ever, leaders need to be empathetic, they need to be kind. They need to lead with their heart, soul, and mind. Because if you're leading because you think you're powerful, you've got a very short runway.
Yeah, I didn't know what AQ stood for. Thanks for, I'll pick that up, but you're right. I think, and then the P, I think passion, purpose is really, it drives us much more now. In terms of your legacy, Rola, I think a lot of us are very aware of what you've done. And I think there's so much more to you that's going to come. That's why the list I was going to say, is it what you've done for now? I believe that Rola Dagher is going to do even more. And I want to thank you also as a Lebanese for everything that you've done for us as a community and for our country. But yes, I think you're there already. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Habibti. I'll tell you that together we stop at nothing. It's not just I, it's we. Together we stop at nothing.
You're right. So maybe I want to shift a bit to the tech sector, because obviously you've put your whole career in that, it's very, very clear. It's been tech from the beginning. So why tech? How did it, empower you? What happened? Because when you started in tech, now everybody talks about tech, but back then you must have had something drive you or I guess pull you into that. So how did that go?
You know what? I tell you, I never woke up and when I was younger thought I was going to end up in tech. I just woke up knowing that I was determined to succeed. And for me, is I found my passion and I fell in love with technology when I started at Bell back in the days. So I look at where technology is and what it's done, and especially the last 2 years. It has been the foundation of everything we as humans have been impacted by. So technology is an enabler, but people are the foundations, but also technology has been the impact of human progress. I mean, you look at technology back then and technology now, if I look at the first industrial revolution, the second, third, and fourth, and heading into the fifth, you'll see that every time technology hit, people thought that they're going to lose their jobs. But technology more than ever has created more jobs in the world that we've ever seen. I look at what AI, artificial intelligence, or everything that we're seeing today, and you look at metaverse, and next year people are going to have meetings in the metaverse, meaning that you and I will have our characters in the metaverse, and you'll go be shaking virtual hands, not like this, like you won't even see your face anymore, because that's where the world is heading. I still have a very strong opinion about the emotional connection of us as humans. But at the same time, if it wasn't for technology, we wouldn't be where we are today, because it helped advance. But also because I see technology is giving so much empowerment to people to be more creative, to be more empowered, to redefine expectations of the world, that it doesn't matter which part of the world you're in and where do you belong. You have that power of belonging with technology, because just like you and I for the last 2 years have done this, and if it wasn't for it, we wouldn't be where we are. So I've had a crush on George Clooney my entire life, but that's when I've had the crush on technology, because it was the same thing. And by the way, I'll make a joke the whole time. I can't believe George Clooney went to Lebanon, picked the wrong girl, because I was just single at the time. So it's just. But she's awesome, by the way. I actually think she's the best that's ever happened, to the Lebanese community too. She makes us proud.
Yeah.
So that's why I love technology.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, we wouldn't be having this discussion if it wasn't for technology. And I'm sure when we look at who's attending to this, they're all over the world. Even some people in Beirut are actually watching this. So it wouldn't have happened without technology, right?
Yeah.
So there's a few things you brought up about what pushed you. You talked about survival, you talked about determination, and I'm wondering how much of that is tied to one, being a woman, being Lebanese. Did that propulse you? Did that stop you? Given your personal experience, what kind of tools or what did it do? Did it give you? Did it help you, or was it more of a hamper? Like, can you just tell us about that?
A great question, Rana. I've never, ever, ever once thought because I was a woman, people pick me. And by the way, just so you know, even when I got the role at Cisco and Dell, people said, "Oh, it's because she's a woman. They want to check the box that they have more females." I've heard that. I've also heard, "Oh yeah, because of her good looks, she got to where she was." Oh, I've also heard because, "Oh, she's a machine gun Rola because I was Lebanese. People made fun of me because, they thought all Lebanese people are like that." And I was called bossy, I was called aggressive, I was called you name it. But I will tell you, it was just my father. This is how he raised us all, very strong, and has always said to us, it doesn't matter, because again, all my uncles had boys and my dad is the one with all the girls. And he taught us, no matter how tough it gets, it doesn't matter what a boy could do, you can do and you will do. And if you come crying to me one day that you cannot do it, I'll give you that kick in the ass and remind you that you could still do it. So I walked into a room feeling confident being a woman, but feeling confident that I add value, not overconfident in walking in and thinking because. No, I felt confident. I believed in myself. I believed in the value that I brought to the table. I believe that my story is an inspiration to every single person in the room. I believed in my ability to do what I did because I surrounded myself with the right people. I hate toxic environment. I hate drama. And I left my job between Bell and Dell because I reported for someone. And I told you guys it's because I took the job because of the money. I was a single mom. I had cancer, all of that. But I quit and I had $700 in my bank account because I would never tolerate bullying or a toxic environment. And so I've always walked in feeling confident that I can do it because I was open to constructive criticism. I was open to learning to unlearn. People would say, okay, I used to be really fiery and I still sometimes, just kind of like it's in all of us, like when you get constructive feedback, you just react. And now I listen to understand versus listen to react. I listen to just be able to improve. I call it the Rola 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0. It's like a software release on your phone. You always have to upgrade it because if you think that you know it all, just stay home because you need to be in the motion and the attitude of learn it all, not know it all. And the other thing that guided me in my life were three things that I always preach, and it's been my motto in life is learn it, earn it, return it. I learned it the hard way because I didn't have the formal education. I earned it because nothing was given to me. What I was given is opportunities to make the best of what I've had. I earned respect. I earned my position. And after I learned it and earned it, it's returning it because shame on us as leaders, being Lebanese or being any type of culturally, traditionally, is you have to return it back to the community. We have to return it back. Is the elevator goes up, but the elevator goes down. So send that elevator back down and lift people up with you because someone took a chance on you one day and lifted others with you.
I love what you just said. It's really great. You're right. I think we do have to do that. And I mean, based on what you said, again, it wasn't that easy, but you took it. And as they say, you made lemonade with the lemons. And that's great. Maybe go on to your tips. I know you've been giving us a lot of your tips along the way. But, when we look at and we take your experience between the job that you took and you quit after 6 months, obviously we see that you are willing to take risks and you're really willing to step up and stand for your beliefs and your values. But do you find that the world has evolved? I find things have changed, but I'd love to hear your view. Do you find that the world that we're in has evolved for women, their career, and how people perceive diversity as a whole? We haven't talked about your view on that. We talk about women and men, but I think you have something. I know that you believe something about diversity, and I'd like to give you the floor for that and talk about how diversity is important to you, because that's become an important topic today, right? And I'd like to hear you on your view and your vision of diversity in your team and in the community.
I love this question. Is as a woman, for me, diversity, as a Lebanese woman, as an immigrant, as a leader, as whatever we want to call it, diversity is everything for me. You never want to hire someone that looks like you, speaks like you, and do the same thing as you do. You want to hire someone that has a diverse thought, that brings to different thought leadership into the room, that could challenge you, that could also be someone that has the same values as you and the same drive as you and as determined as you and as hungry. So diversity in the workplace for me is everything, because if it was like the old days of everybody that looked exactly the same in the boardroom, we wouldn't be where we are today. So for me, I walk into a room, if everybody looks the same, then I want to get the hell out and go find a room that everybody can challenge me and make me even a stronger and a better person. So that's from an overall diversity. For as a female leader and as a woman, I will tell all the women, because you are a woman, you can do it. Not because they want you to be a woman to check the box, because you can do it. You know, that those people that live in your head rent free, cut them off, right? I would say cut them off, because what other people think of you is not of your business. I say that you tell yourself every day 3 words: I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Push the limit and don't stick in your lane. Get out of your comfort zone and be ready to be uncomfortable, because that's when you're going to grow. So that comfort and growth don't coexist. And I would say continue to step up and step forward. I would say show up very strongly, stand up very proudly, and speak up very passionately and very proudly as well. The way I look at I look at and I approach things with the advice that I give people is believe in yourself, believe in your ability to that you can do this. Be passionate about what you do, because if you're not, like you said, Rana, that you won't. Life is an opportunity for us to continue to make the best out of it, but turn your weaknesses to strength, turn your wounds into wisdom. And at the end of the day, I will continue to tell everybody, be yourself, because everyone else is taken.
So well said, Rola. So well said. I hope that, you know, the young people and the women around the table got what you wanted to transcend. I absolutely did. I think you're an inspiration. Every time I hear you, again, I think, you know, more people should hear what you have to say, because you have had an impact. You have gone to the top, and it wasn't easy for you, and you still made it, because if I were to sum it up, you believed in yourself. I think at the end, this is it. And you didn't listen to anybody, and you had people help you along the way, but they saw what you were, right? They saw you. They wasn't that they gave it to you. They just recognized the great person that you were. And I just want to commend you on everything that you've done, and you have given back a lot, a lot. So I keep thanking you, but I want to thank you again. Thank you for coming here and sharing it with life, with everybody else. I think we can take a few questions. There's a few minutes left. I think everybody could have the chance to ask Rola or myself questions about this. So
Rana, I do have to say you have an unbelievable story yourself too. So don't underestimate that. Amazing, because you know, people like you and me in our community, people say, how did she get there? How did she make it? You know, glass ceilings were shattered. People see the titles and the glories, but people don't see the struggles and the sacrifice that we've made. And then when we shattered those glass ceilings, we got so many cuts and so many blood that we were bleeding to get to where we are today. So I do want to acknowledge your beautiful story, your success, and your also determination, and how proud of a mother you are to a young man behind you as a single mom. I salute you for who you are and what you believe in.
thanks, Rola. Thank you. But I'll tell you, was the thing that drove me the most was also that I was believing in myself. It's very similar. And I think people, women, men, whatever, have to really find that strength inside. So thank you. Yeah. So let's see where the questions are. I'm not sure. I haven't seen it. Yeah.
No, I think if anybody wants to drop a question in the Q&A, please go ahead. We'd love to hear from you.
Friday afternoon, midday. People are ready for the weekend, a glass of wine, some wine and cheese, and they're ready.
I think they're in awe as well from the story. So
Rana, sorry, is there a question?
Yes, sorry, if you want, I'll read it out. What advice would you give young Lebanese women starting their careers in such circumstances? That's from
in Lebanon or outside of Lebanon. So in Lebanon, I just want to say to every Lebanese young woman and man, I feel for you. I ache for you. I hurt for all of you. I was in your shoes many, many, many years ago. And I can't believe we're still facing those issues. But I will tell you, don't lose hope, no matter how tough it gets. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. If Rana and I have made it, you can. Stay determined, stay focused, and lean on people in your life that could help you open doors. And I will tell you one thing that I loved when I read that. You never know how strong you are until being strong is the only option you have. So continue to be strong, continue to show up, stand up and speak up. And most importantly, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take in life. So continue to take every shot because you never know when that shot you will score and you will get to where you want to be. And the most important part that you need to think about is who you are today will never determine what you can be. Rana, anything you'd like to add?
no, I think you're right. Look, I mean, it wasn't easy for both of us too. My story was not easy and we made it because we wanted to make it and you guys will make it too. And you're not alone. We're here beside you as well. Don't forget that we have a very strong diaspora around and reach out to us if you need anything. We are here and life is there as well. So we're trying to do the best that we can to support you. But at the end, if you believe you're going to make it, you will make it. You will.
Perfect, thank you. There's another question, Rola. Who has been your biggest inspiration professionally and personally?
حبيب قلبي بيي. أقول لك خلي لي يا رب. I know Rana met him last time we were chatting. He just walked into my office to give me my tea. So my father has been my inspiration, my guiding light. Personally, I am in awe of his strength, and no matter how tough it got, he's still at 85. I tell you, I've been struggling and fighting long COVID for 18 months, and my 85-year-old father has been literally by my side. But most importantly, my daughter, that's 33 today, and my son is 28. His birthday's today, actually. I always say I carried my daughter for 9 months, but she's carried me for the last 2 years of helping me to walk and speak, because I couldn't speak, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat, I couldn't do anything, but she has retrained me to be who I am. So my father and my daughter has been my inspiration. On the professional side, I am in awe of multiple people because it's hard to pick just one person. I look at Michael Dell and what he's done and accomplished, starting in a dorm room with $700, and he's worth $102 billion with an organization of 150,000 people that help him every day to be who he is. I look at people, I look at Lebanese people, I look at the stories of some wonderful Lebanese people like Ghassan and his story of his success and how he escaped and how his wife was by his side. Those are people that inspire me every day. So it's tough for you to pick one person that inspires you from a professional side, because this is when you have a growth mindset, because multiple people in my life had helped me to be, and I always say, I want to be like them when I grow up.
Perfect.
Rana, how about you?
Rana,
You
how
mean?
about you?
Oh, for me, it's my mother on a personal level too. My mom was also a single mom, and she supported me and my brother, and she really pushed me. So on a personal side, it's my mom. Um, on a professional side, I would say one of the people, and I totally agree with you. It's very hard to pick one person. I mean, one person hard. I've had a great boss named Maki Tal, who we invested in infrastructure globally, and also I would say my uncle Aziz Siriani. I would say he is a great example for me of somebody who professionally has succeeded and has been wonderful. So I would say those two people have influenced me very much, and many others. I mean, there are very many others people. So yeah.
Perfect. Maybe we have time for one more question. Can you tell us more about a situation where things didn't go the way you wanted them to? So maybe an embarrassing moment, and how what you did, sorry, to overcome that failure or lose confidence.
Rana, go
More
ahead, Rana.
vulnerable side.
There are many times where it went wrong, to be honest. I mean, I have to pick one of them. And I think, Rola, you said it. I mean, you basically, you learn from them and you pick up and you go forward. I think that's what you had said. And I'd love to hear your examples because I have many. But that's when you grow the most, I would say. It's when you things happen not the way you expected them to. And then it makes you realize that there are different, life can work in different ways. But how do you optimize, or how do you maximize that moment, and how do you capture that moment to make you go further and go become better? So for me, those have happened a few times in my career. They could have been transactions, it could have been in a negotiation, it could have been in an event that happened, or things that happened that are not in your control and completely shift the situation sideways. And you just have to put your courage together and just think about and go forward. So nothing goes exactly the way you expected it to. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Rana. And there's multiple situations that happened, but the most recent one that I could tell you, that when I decided to resign from Cisco Canada, I made the decision to leave during a pandemic. I started at Dell, and 3 weeks later, I was in an ICU fighting for my life. I couldn't speak. I lost my voice for 3 months. I couldn't function. And imagine starting a new job and you getting hit with COVID really hard. And you're thinking, oh my God, they just invested so much in me to bring me back to the organization. And almost 2 years later, I'm still fighting it. And as you could hear, my voice starts getting harsher and harsher when I speak, and I crash every day. The last 2 years has taught me that, people that believe in you, no matter how tough it gets, where I thought I'm like, my career is ruined. Like, how can I operate as a global channel chief with a $60 billion business? Well, I felt so weak and I was so sick, and I came back and I had to type because I couldn't speak. And Michael Dell knew, and he was messaging my daughter every day to ask about how I was doing. And it was amazing how it made me feel that they cared. But at the same time, the wheel in my head was spinning. My career ended because this is how I felt weak. I felt that I'm done. What am I going to do? How am I going to help my family? How am I going to support my kids? I mean, my kids are amazing. And I tell you that very quickly, I learned that health is wealth. Very quickly, I learned the priorities in life of family. And very quickly, I learned that those situations I couldn't have controlled. There was a lot of other situation I could give you in my life that happened. I was embarrassed in the moment that, hey, I didn't speak perfect English and someone made fun of me, or I walked into a meeting, didn't know everything, and someone looked me down and I was embarrassed. All of those, but none of that matters. Because what matters is how you are fighting for your life. And at the end of the day, thinking, you know what? Life throws things at us, but it's how you come out of it, how you turn those experiences to growth, how you turn those experiences to, it happened to me for a reason and I can and I will overcome it.
That's amazing, Rola. Really, I think goosebumps are all over. Really such an inspiration and such a devotion and an example. So really, we can't thank you enough for taking the time today to share these moments with us, and Rana as well. Really, to both of you, two inspirational women that a lot of the younger generation who are listening, a lot of our scholars who are here, you know, look up to and know that you are not only a beacon of hope, but a beacon of support. And I think that's in these difficult times, it's very needed, I think. So really, thanks again, and thank you everybody for joining us this afternoon. And yeah, we look forward to keeping in touch and keeping up all the work and the profile for the Lebanese women that we're very proud of. So thank you very much, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Have an awesome weekend. Thank you again for having me, Rana. You're a blessing. And to the entire Life community, you guys do things every single day to give back to our community, to our Lebanon. Inshallah, Ya Rab, one day we'll all be reunited back to Lebanon as proud as we've always been, and be there in person and celebrate us being Lebanese in a beautiful, beautiful country. So thank you, and be safe, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.